Hey everyone. A little bit late. Ow. Thanks. Thank you. A little bit late tonight. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do one very important thing. I forgot to set up the chat widget on this screen. Hang on a sec. I'll do that while I'm live. Professional streamer, by the way, everybody, in case you forgot. Who is also late to his own stream more often than not. I do apologize. I had a doctor's appointment today that I completely forgot about until the last minute. So I had to hurry my ass over to get to it in time, and yeah, so that took longer than expected. And I was hungry when I got back, so I decided to get some food as well. So let me just do some editing here. Apologies. We'll get back to it sooner or later. Hopeful, and by that I mean we'll get back to it very quickly. I just need to insert the chat overlay into this screen. So put it in there. Now it's gonna be uncentered. Well, actually no, it's not. I haven't saved it yet, so it's not in there yet, so we're good. There we are. All right, let's get it over here, and then we just okay, there. All right, a little bit of flickering, but that should be good now, hopefully. Yep, there you all are. Okay, good. That worked. Apologies about that. Just got this chatting widget set up, or the chatting layout set up just now. Like a few minutes ago I got this set up. But I think this works better for this type of stream. Banished to the chat box. Yes, you are now confined to the box. Enjoy your stay. Now hopefully it won't go outside that box. By the power of the sun, I compel you all to stay in your box. I know it's a little cramped, but trust me, it's for your own good. Ow, my face. Thank you. Let me out. No. You stay in that box and think about what you've done. Also, yeah, you may notice the background behind me is a little, slightly different. And off to the nether we go. Thank you, Draxus Eridor, Lord of the Burning Legion. I was talking, but yes. Oh, well, you know, y'all are in your box now. I'm in my box. But yeah, the background behind me is a little different than it was a few seconds ago, because this background was not meant to be looped throughout an entire stream. So part of the overlay is missing, so I need to fix that. But I like how this looks for a talkie stream as opposed to, yeah, you see the slight flicker, so it just restarted. I'll need to like find a way to make this an infinite loop that doesn't do that. But it works for now. I prefer that, and I prefer it over just this. I mean, the entertaining graphic is fantastic and all that, but this is an actual entertaining graphic, so, I mean, it works. It works. I just gotta iron out some kinks. Ow. And of course, we've got dear Hoovy over there in the corner keeping us company. The corner Pootus, once again, braving the nether to assist us in entertaining you all, or assist me, I suppose. But I hope everyone is having a good day today. The entertaining graphic works like the DVD logo screensaver. I wish I could figure out how to do that, because I would do that, like, absolutely. Also, we're gonna up that message limit to, like, 99, so ow. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so it'll stay within the box, but the messages won't disappear. But yeah, it's been an alright day for me so far. Nothing much going on. Aside from that doctor's appointment, which was kind of a panicky moment for me, because I'm just like the literal moment I was about to hit go live, I got an alert on my phone that said, oh hey, you're supposed to be at the doctor's right now. I'm like, oh shit. So I had to just run my ass over to the appointment, and that took a little bit longer than expected, because the bus was late. I will take a sledgehammer to the chat box. Well, fortunately for me, this chat box is confined to cyberspace, so unless you got yourself a banhammer, then I think I'm fine. Mr. Robo Game, what game, Mr. Robo Man, pardon me, what game recommendations do you have, if any? Well, I mean, Subnautica, obviously. Why'd you go to the doctor for a checkup? It was what's the word for it? Psychiatrist appointment, actually. But yes, just a routine checkup that I do like once a month. All right, box is working good. Excellent. But yeah, Subnautica is a good recommendation, obviously. I mean, if you haven't played Dead Cells before, ow, that one's always fun, and it is on sale right now. In fact, Payday 2 is actually on sale as well. That's another fun one that I've been slightly getting into, but I just play with my friends. Dredge is pretty cool. Dredge is a pretty neat game. That one that I need to eventually get back to. Also, yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is one that I really need to eventually play. I have not played Miasma Chronicles. I've not even heard of that one before, I'll be honest. I've heard also has a proper streaming mode, so hang on a second. Hi-Fi Rush has a proper streaming mode, so all copyrighted music is removed. Excellent. Oh god. Yeah, today has just kind of been a bit of a sleepy day for me. I mean, I woke up late, like very late, because I have a D&D session, like super late at night. Ow. But the worst part is we didn't even play this week because we didn't have enough people, so I stayed up super late for nothing. But oh well. It's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of blah. I was getting on a decent sleep schedule, and it's like passing that point in the week is always like a, okay, can I stay on this sleep schedule? And usually yes, but not all the time. But yeah. Our D&D campaign got shoved back 3 weeks. My friend group and I are playing a Kingmaker campaign that we have played twice in the past like month. Actually, no, it was like, actually, no, like in the past 2.5 months, we have played it twice. It's an unfortunate circumstance. Got a decent sleep schedule for now. I'm on a week-long break from work. Now I'm waking up at noon and sleeping at 4. Yep, sounds about right. Sounds about right. That happens to me a lot. Anytime I like take some time off of work, and I like, once I get this next big video done, well, I say big video, it's just the extras video, but once I get that one done, before I start on the next one, I'm giving myself like a week off. I know I'm going to mess up my sleep schedule when I do that. The bane of adults playing tabletops. It really is just organizing tabletops and having people show up consistently. It's a gambit, really. You're not always guaranteed to have like and unfortunately, normally the thing is in a lot of groups, if like one person doesn't show up, you can usually still play. But in my groups right now, at least in my group currently, one of our main guys is having to be out a lot because of work-related issues. So that aren't yet resolved, which they will be eventually, but they aren't yet. So we're at a point where if one person is missing, we literally can't play. My opinion on fire. It's very fire-esque. That's about all you're getting out of me. It's not Ed, is it? No, thankfully, I mean, well, I know it's a very similar situation to Ed's. Not like exactly, but it's their coworker just isn't there situation. And I'm very glad that at the end of this year, Ed's finally getting out of that job. Like, thank fucking God, the dude deserves a fucking break. and the person has to leave for something and you're just on pause. Yeah, I've had that happen before. It's like you're in the middle of a legitimately cool character dynamic between you and another party member, and then or like a story that's in, or like the campaign is dipping into a certain character's backstory in a way that's really engaging and keeps the rest of the group involved, and then they have to leave for a period of time. So then the campaign just kind of has to go off the rails for a bit, and that whole storyline is essentially just caught in stasis. Or you run a couple of one-shots, or more likely you just don't play until they're back. I've been worried as fuck. Yeah, honestly, me too. Like, Ed is a fantastic man, and I hope to God he has got something better lined up. And like either way, I just want the dude to enjoy life. He's had enough, you know. Dude has been dealing with a lot for the past couple of years, and he's had enough. I think it's time for him to just be able to enjoy his work again, you know. We did a dream world thing for a session. We were missing someone, so the whole session was just trauma. Yep, that also works. Man does need a break, like a significantly long break, and I hope he gets one. What I miss? Not much, just chatting about, well, in a very similar situation to me, people having to miss D&D sessions because people aren't showing up, and then or having to have the campaign go off in a weird direction because people aren't showing up. Which is always weird whenever it happens. It's like okay, we were just in the middle of this one plot point that kind of felt like it was a little bit important, you know? Where things were kind of happening, people were involved, and well, now we're just kind of, no, never mind, we gotta go do this thing now because the person who is critical to this point happening is just not here. And I mean, like, obviously no one can be there all the time. Like, shit happens. I'm not, like, bashing anybody who doesn't show up. It's just always a really awkward situation. I'd rather wait to play D&D than have the DN delete the campaign in a fit of rage. Oof, I've had that happen before. But I don't know where to begin / find groups. Honestly, just ask around any community you're a part of. Like, thoughts on a mouth for Al? Well, I mean, Al was designed with just his eyes being the only, like, expressive part of his face in mind. Like, the entire design was like, had that in mind. So if I were to suddenly give him a mouth, it would look really weird, right? The head design and proportions were all made with the idea of his eyes being like in the direct center of his face and being front and center prominent. So like if I gave him a mouth, everything would just look proportionally weird. Although that would be a pretty funny April Fool's update. You are right about that, Trad. And the funny thing is, I would do like they do in SpongeBob, where they do like the animated face, but with the super realistic lips. that would honestly be pretty funny. I may have to think about that. That sounds cursed, but very funny. Imagine if that's someone's first exposure to my stream, watching this super stylized low poly robot with hyper realistic lips ranting about Blizzard or something. I'd just be like, well, sorry that was your first exposure to me, but welcome. Hope you enjoy your stay. Dealing with the hassle of installing XCOM 2 mods. Oof, yeah, that is always a lot of fun. We had to recently restart a campaign because something happened in our last modded run that just caused the game to continuously crash anytime I tried to load a mission. So far, the new campaign is working just fine, but yeah. Perfect exposure, weed out the weak. What was the cause? I still don't know. Like, I reflected on it and tried to find an answer and tried to find a problem. I still have no idea what was causing it. Just something broke that shouldn't have, and everything else just crashed down around it. Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, funny enough, I was having a talk with Games with Spaghetti Code with a couple of friends, and I mentioned XCOM 2, ow, and how Bradford's speaking lines at the beginning of certain missions are literally load-bearing code. So if Bradford is modded in such a way that makes him entirely shut up, the game will literally not function, and several checkpoints in certain missions just won't trigger, and the game will soft lock itself, if not just straight up crash. Yes, Bradford is literally a load-bearing pillar for the entirety of the game. Kind of makes sense. He was the one that got XCOM. He was the one that held XCOM, that got XCOM back together, and he's the one that's and he's the one that's holding it together. Yes, Drad also brings up another good one. So to tell a brief story about TF2's personal spaghetti code, well, I say personal, own spaghetti code, a lot of people a while ago thought that there was a rumor going around in TF2 a while ago, Team Fortress 2 for people who don't know it. Apparently there was a rumor going around a long while ago that buried deep in the code is a PNG of a coconut, or a JPEG of a coconut. And that is true. No, it is a PNG. It was a PNG of a coconut. And that is true. In the code, there is a PNG of a coconut. The thought process and the rumor was that this coconut is actually load-bearing code for whatever reason, and if deleted from the code, from the database, from the archives, whatever, it will not work. The game will just crash. That was not true. In fact, it turns out the coconut PNG was just the small individual bits of cocoa beans, quote-unquote, that Soldier holds up during his coffee taunt. However, there is load-bearing code buried inside one of the game's assets. You want to take a guess at what it is? You can see it in-game on almost every single map. Anybody who doesn't know. Yep, it's the fucking cardboard cow. The cardboard cow that you have likely seen on several maps is the load-bearing code of or rather, has load-bearing code within it. We know this because somebody on YouTube went ahead and deleted one by one, methodically, deleted every single file in their TF2 installation until it would just until the exe would just no longer start. And they got it down to 4 files. I don't remember what they all are, but I know that one of them was the cardboard cow. So I'm pretty sure that the cardboard cow is so integral to the game running that that on every single level there is a cardboard cow somewhere. It's either hidden out of bounds or it's actually hidden on the level somewhere. For some reason, because code spaghetti. So yes, the cardboard cow is actually a god in the TF2 universe, and I'm really sad that the TF2 comics have just basically, not really officially, but let's face it, officially ended, just stopped, canceled, because I really hope that they would have made a joke about the almighty TF2 cow god. I mean, for God's sake, one of the pivotal plot points in the TF2 storyline is a mineral by the name of Australium. And New Zealand is essentially Atlantis in that universe. And no, that's not a joke. Now I'm just sad thinking about TF2 again. By the way, has there been any updates on that holiday update we were supposed to get this summer? Has there been anything at all? I haven't heard anything. Nothing. Yep, that's kind of what I thought. At this point, I know they downgraded it from an update-sized update to a holiday, or rather, they corrected their wording from an update-sized update to a holiday-sized update. But I would take anything at this point. I know they said it was supposed to be this summer, and we're almost halfway through summer right now, and I'm like, haven't heard anything yet. So I'm holding out hope, but I've been holding out hope for like the past 6 fucking years. In the Netherlands, there is a province in the Netherlands called Zeeland. Ah, okay, I gotcha. In the words of Lazy Purple, and then Valve said, Dota, Dota, Counter-Strike. Yeah, speaking of which, Counter-Strike has like a full-on, like, Source 2 sequel on the way, don't they? Or doesn't it? Like, it's not necessarily a sequel, but it's basically Global Offensive being ported over to Source 2. Well, I guess it is, it is actually a sequel. It's literally called Counter-Strike 2, but it is essentially just Counter-Strike in Source 2. Which I have to wonder if they're doing that with any other games in their library, because, like, from what I've seen, I haven't seen much of Source 2, I'll be honest, but for what they managed to get it to do in Half-Life Alyx, it seems pretty impressive. So maybe, just maybe, because, like, here's the thing, Source 2, like, the Source engine was based off of the Gold Source engine, which was a modified version of the Quake engine. So, Source, the whole engine that Valve was known for, is basically a tower of duct tape. To the point where in TF2, you can still control your character with the arrow keys on the keyboard, which is a Quake thing. That is not, like, classic old boomer shooters did not have mouse controls, or at least that wasn't the standard at the time. You moved with your fucking keyboard. I cannot imagine playing a first-person shooter with only a keyboard. That sounds like hell. I have heard about Emesis Blue, but I haven't played it. Source has made a string, scotch tape, and a pipe dream, and happy thoughts. Yeah. Just add happy thoughts and wishful thinking on top of that. And is powered by the tears of the programmers who have to keep wrangling it to do anything. No, I haven't watched Emesis Blue. I've only heard of it. I mean, not played. Did I say played? Fuck. I meant watched. But yeah. Ow. That sounds impossible to play. Like, load up any classic first-person shooter and try only playing it with the arrow keys and, like, whatever you use to fire. Try it. You will hate it. There's a in the famous words of Ross Scott, sometimes the old ways are bullshit. Like, people talk about playing first-person shooters with a controller is hard, and it is, to be fair. If you don't have, like, generous amounts of aim assist with a controller, playing a first-person shooter is not super fun. But there are worse ways. There are worse ways, and they used to be the standard. Like, the funny thing is, I'm sure you can get used to it, but there's a reason we don't do it anymore. because aiming precisely with a mouse is so much easier. Thoughts on Disco Elysium? Well, I've definitely heard of it, and I've heard people talking about it. I've just never played it myself. Definitely one of those games that it's like, I keep hearing about it in the background, and then I just never really do anything. with it or seek it out. It's just kind of there for me anyway. And I hear a lot about it and how like it's super interesting and putas, but I've just not gotten around to it. Have not thought of doing that, Hamilton, mainly because I haven't really played much of Stellaris. I'm not super good at those types of games. I'll be honest. It'd be interesting, but I don't know. I just never got into it. Like Civ games are kind of a very specific mood I need to be in. And even then, the last one I played semi-regularly was Civ 4. And like, I'm the kind of person who, okay, look, I'm the kind of I know what people, I know what the typical Stellaris content is. I'm not the kind of guy who plays to genocide everyone. Like, I'm the kind of guy who would, in like Civ 4, play to get either a science victory or a culture victory. I wouldn't be going around blowing everyone up. I'm the kind of guy who likes to be the merchant rather than the you know, wow, my brain completely blanked. I'm the kind of guy who likes to be the merchant and the scientist rather than the blow everyone up guy. No, not a megacore. More like well, more like to engineer gaming. Yeah, basically. Yeah, more like a federation, I guess. Would be the best way chat's put it so far. Like, again, I don't play these games very much, so I don't have a good grasp on the terminology, but yeah, that sounds more my speed. Building a federation. What was the main reason you moved away from gameplay content? The main reason is it was a lot of effort for very little return, and very little overall channel exposure and growth, which I know sounds kind of selfish, but let me explain. If I'm gonna put that much effort into something and have to do it very regularly because it's gameplay content that's in like 15-minute chunks, people want it constantly. If I'm gonna be putting that much effort into something, I would much rather it be a huge, once-in-a-while project that I can feel proud of, and that most likely more people are gonna sit through and remember it and be more engaged with it than just another episode of playing Shadow of War. Shadow of War had some great moments, but I guarantee you... Never mind, I forgot what I was gonna say. Point being, I like my new style of content more because it feels more impactful and it's reached a lot more people. You can't deny that. I mean, the Subnautica video is nearly up to 2 million views. Actually, I say nearly. What's it up to right now? Has it passed that threshold yet? Let me see. Yeah, no, it has actually passed 2 million. The Subnautica retrospective is now up to 2,066,000 views. You can't say it doesn't work. And considering that I do this as a job, as much as I would love to just do whatever I want, I gotta also keep in mind what works from a business perspective and for keeping my lights on. And it just so happens that what is currently working happens to be what I enjoy doing more. I like making stories, and I like taking people along for the ride for them. And that was basically the whole Dark Souls video in a nutshell. It was essentially just a 2.5 hour long documentary playthrough of that kind of was like, that tried to at least slightly emulate someone's first journey through the game, or at least someone's memories of their first journey through the game. People react better for longer content, shorter for that dopamine hit. Yeah, basically. Okay, so I guess the reasoning is twofold. One, I mean, it works. You can't say it doesn't work from a statistical standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, the longer videos stick with people more and are more memorable and aren't just... I don't want to be the dopamine hit guy, you know? I want to actually make stuff that people think about and remember and go back to and revisit. Because that's the kind of content I grew up with. I grew up with content that would take weeks to months to come out, but every time it did, it was always really fun to revisit. It was always memorable and something that I would always go back to. That's the kind of stuff that I remember. I didn't really grow up with Let's Play content. That was a little later in my internet content absorbing lifetime. Yeah, that was a decent string of words I said. But yeah, ow. The longer stuff is just more personally fulfilling. Your retrospectives is where you shine. Like, honestly, despite the fact that the Dark Souls video was, without a doubt, the most stressful video for me to work on in my entire career, it was also some of my best work. And what I found interesting is, looking back on it, I kind of notice a style of my own for that kind of video emerging, where, yeah, I do some pretty fun visual edits, but at points where I'm just talking, the visual edits take a back seat to the subject matter. And what's on screen is really just enough to keep you visually engaged while I'm talking about something that isn't, you know, filled with dead memes. Like, the video goes from the fucking lightning spear commercial to, at the very end, the huge like existential rant set to Gwyn's theme with just a fight with him going on in the background. So my style seems to be the visual edits pop in when they're needed and take a back seat when they're not. And that works because some of those edits are particularly time-consuming. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how rewarding finishing a video can be, but how utterly soul-draining editing can be at times. I like your take on what is going on in Lordran. Honestly, it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot over the years, and I just kind of decided to, put it into words. My thoughts on the whole, like, Dark Souls story, what the overall point of the games is. And the funny thing is, during scripting, you can kind of get a feel for the, for my mental state, judging by, like, the tone that the script takes at certain points. Like, the closer I got to finishing the script, the more I started getting, well, the more my personal stresses started really getting to me, and you can kind of hear that in the way that in the wording and, like, the tone that happens throughout the video. Like, the moment where Solaire starts to go hollow and, like, it breaks into me, like, full-on role-playing, trying to, you know, being utterly fucking destroyed by that was basically just my emotionally damaged brain expressing itself in that moment. And then immediately after finishing that, I'm like, okay, maybe I should, like, loop it back fairly quickly to being goofy again. And then we got the Lost Izalith introduction with Groos's theme, which is the best piece of music Nintendo has ever made, and I will not be told otherwise. And then really the whole section of Lost Izalith, when I said in the video that I was actually looking forward to Lost Izalith, but then I suddenly couldn't have fun with it, I legitimately couldn't. In that moment, I was like, throughout all of scripting, I was like, okay, let's just get through this part. Lost Izalith is coming up. We know what to say about that area. We know that it's bad, and we can have a lot of fun tearing it apart. And then I get there, and we're just like, I'm just fucking pissed. I'm just fucking pissed. Like, just remembering this area and what it represents and how much just the latter half of Dark Souls just could have been so much better than it was. I'm just fucking pissed. So I just channeled that, and so I just channeled all of that pissed offness into the rant against the Bed of Chaos, which was basically the video's climax, in my opinion. It was the one thing that everyone knew was going to be there. Everyone who watched that video and was familiar with Dark Souls anyway, and then knew about the Bed of Chaos, knew that that was coming. It was kind of fun doing that elongated build up to it, following finding Solaire in the shortcut again, where it was just a long, musicless, rambling build up to it, and then right as I drop with "this thing fucking deserves it," it was basically just the payoff to the wait. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. I'm starting to. The immediate jump to the DLC made me literally shout. I also had a lot of fun with that one. Funnily enough, the introduction to the DLC being a Mario 64 reference was completely made up on the spot during editing. I just got the idea when I was thinking of, okay, how the fuck am I going to transfer? Oh no, wait, it was. Oh, no, wait, yeah, it was basically just thought up during editing. When I was getting closer to that point because I was editing through the video and scripting it and scripting the last parts of it at the same time. So as I was editing through stuff, I was just kind of like, how am I going to like transition over to the DLC? And at the time I was revisiting Mario 64 on an emulator. I mean, with a perfectly legal copy on my perfectly legal Nintendo 64 I still have. Anyway, so I was revisiting Mario 64, and it was just suddenly, as I was editing, it was just kind of like a moment where I'm like, I got it. I know how to do it. And of course, I followed up the introduction with Bomb on Battlefield, which is... Actually, no. I was going to say it's the best song in Mario 64, but it's not. It's Dire Dire Docks. Like, at least for me anyway. I should preface that. For me anyway, Dire Dire Docks is Mario 64's best music, and is probably my best theme. Well, I say my best theme. It is probably the one song I go back and listen to more often, and that makes me think about my childhood more than any other. That's a pretty iconic song. Yeah, the whole joke was basically just playing Bomb on it was like entering in Bomb on Battlefield through the painting, and then the music starts, but just, yeah, you know, I'm explaining my own jokes, goddamn. Anyway, that whole segment was just fun to edit through. And then, I'll be honest, figuring out what the hell to do with Gwyn's section was probably the hardest part of the whole, video. Because it was just gonna be such a sudden shift in tone from the DLC segment. And I didn't know how the hell to lead into it. So... I mean, I'm gonna change the music here real quick. Fading out from the DLC and then just fading back in on Siegmeyer being dead in Ash Lake just seemed like a good way to suddenly not like be a jarring shift in tone, but just be, you know, just be like essentially a sign coming up that says, hey, the funny stops here. And then it kept that tone. And what was interesting is throughout most of the video, anytime I would go serious, it would last for a while, and then I'd immediately follow it up with a joke. The ending segment, starting from Siegmeyer all the way to the actual, like, to the end of the afterthought segment, was the only time in the whole video I was nothing but serious. And then, of course, followed up with the Mario Super Mario 3D World end credits, and then me popping up on screen being like, "I'm fucking alive! Holy hell!" But yeah, that whole what was it, like a stretch of 5 or 6, maybe even 7 minutes or so was like the point where it went totally serious and absolute somber in tone. One second. Let me find some music here. What am I looking for? Yeah, this'll do. This'll do. We open that fight by parrying Gwyn immediately. I mean, it was a little bit. I mean, yeah, I guess it would be. I guess it was a little bit funny. It was more meant to emphasize just how actually pathetic Gwyn is compared to everything else you came before, and just and yeah, it was a subversion from the build-up and like the cut from him jumping in with the sword, and then it's just like your character just baps him aside with barely even trying, because at that point your character is basically a demigod. And Gwyn is just a hollowed out corpse with a fiery sword. And yeah, and going back to the whole, you can tell what my mental state was by listening to my wording throughout the video. I think you can tell that during that whole segment of just that whole existential segment of talking about the nature of Dark Souls and how basically you were never a chosen undead, and going into the my whole interpretation of the actual story of it. I think you could tell that at that point I was kind of just fucking done with everything, and I was really not in a good state of mind. But at the same time, I'm at least happy with how I managed to script it all out. Yeah, it was, But at the same time, it's definitely the video that I'm most proud of right now, even if it had a lot of snags. What's the question, Drad? Oh, and that extras video is nearly done. I just gotta, like, get a few more edits in there, because I'm a bit of a fucking perfectionist nerd. One person wanting to sell me art on Discord, I'm gonna yeet them. Ugh, pardon me. Would you do more Souls retrospectives, or was the one you made the only one you want to do? Oh no, I am absolutely gonna do more Souls retrospectives, but as I'm going to state in the extras video, if they're going to end up being of a similar length, I'm doing them in parts next time. A 2.5 hour long video is definitely impressive for the algorithm, but fuck me, it was pain. Finding a way to pace out a 2.5 hour long video to the point where it doesn't feel like rambling, it doesn't skip from part to part jarringly, it has a nice flow, it has a point to it that you carry from beginning to end, it has reoccurring things that come back up later, it makes sense, and even then I missed out on some parts and forgot to bring up certain subjects again. But yeah, making sure that the whole it's like basically having to, I mean, it's like having to script out an actual documentary, only even more so because I have to make it entertaining and not just interesting, you know? Because like I'll sit through an entire documentary and be like, oh, this is fascinating stuff. I need to actually be an entertainer and like make people laugh and chuckle and stuff while also telling them an entertaining story. So yeah, I think the absolute most I will go on a video from now on is about like 40 or 50 minutes, unless it's a special occasion. And I have a few in mind, but, well, I say a few, more like 1 or 2. But for the vast majority of the time, the maximum amount of video that I'm gonna make is probably gonna be 40 to 50 minutes. If I go over that, I'm just doing an extra part. Because that's much easier to script, pace, and edit than 2.5 fucking hours. Because let me tell you, Adobe Premiere does not like videos being that long. Any progress in one direction starts causing problems in another, and Adobe's memory capacity is fucking abysmal. So, yeah. Have a good one, Lydia. We'll probably not be going for much longer, honestly. I was really late tonight and just kind of really fucking tired, and We'll be live again tomorrow with Media Share, and then we'll actually do XCOM on Saturday. What's the question, Drad? Oh, and also, the Souls videos also includes Bloodborne. So, yeah, I'll be doing that one. I'm not sure about Sekiro. Main reason I'm doing the Souls series is because, I mean, you know, I did it in the first one. I kind of have to do the others, and I do want to do the others. Bloodborne is just like one of my favorite games of all time, but Sekiro didn't stick with me as hard. It's a great game, but not as impactful as the original Souls series and Bloodborne. So I'm not sure about Sekiro, but I still really like it. So I may at least give it an honorable mention at some point. I've heard about Battle a bit. I haven't really seen much about it or played it at all. Looks interesting though. I gotta play Bloodborne still. The unfortunate thing is it is not easy to play Bloodborne right now. Like, you either have to own a PS4 or a PS5. And those are your options. I mean, you could also play the Bloodborne PSX. Unfortunately, however, that's only like a slice of the game made into a PSX style game, but Lilith did a fantastic job on that, and I recommend anybody I recommend anyone play it, really. Even if you haven't played Bloodborne, like, and if you don't have the opportunity to play it yourself, just play Bloodborne PSX. It'll at least give you a taste of it, and like, it is actually a legit, it's not just a port of the game into a different style. It is a legitimately really well done game. So yeah, give it a look. Battlefield that lower graphics and it's got proximity chat. The amount of times I've had asking what people is great. That sounds interesting. Also, yes, before I forget, I'm pretty sure I know I've mentioned this multiple times, but I have to keep reiterating it. Lilith is not only made Bloodborne PSX, but she is also working on fucking Bloodborne Kart. Actively. We are going to get the meme before we get an actual PC port of Bloodborne. And the funny thing is, it's actually looking pretty fucking good. Mikolash, the dude in the cage, is a character you could play as, or at least is a boss encounter in that game. He does not ride a vehicle. He just prances about with his cage on his head at Mach speed. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, no, keep an eye on Bloodborne Kart. It's gonna be fucking awesome. God, my neck. What's your question, Twitchy? Let me scroll up through chat here. Tailfounder made a video discussing the concept of cursed heroes with the Soul series. Yeah, cursed or doomed heroes, honestly, is what I'd call Soul series protagonists. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart got a PC port before Bloodborne. Yeah, it did, surprisingly. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say surprisingly, because Sony are a bunch of dicks. Did I miss anything else? Lilith Walther was the mad lass who made Bloodborne Blood Kart, right? Yeah, they are currently making Bloodborne Kart, and they made Bloodborne PSX. And I am very much looking forward to Bloodborne Kart. It's gonna be fucking amazing. Somehow Microsoft being assholes in their own way just seems better than what Sony and Nintendo are doing. I'm not sure I'd say they're better, but they're at the very least not constantly in the news for being... Well, okay. Nintendo is just kind of fucking stupid. Sony is actively malicious. Yeah, anti-consumer. Nintendo's just kind of fucking stupid and run by old, stupid people. Sony is actively malicious and doesn't want competition at all. So, I mean, none of them do, but Sony is much more blatant about it. Ugh. Microsoft's literally buying the competition. Yeah. I'm not really wanting to give Microsoft more control, honestly. Oh, posted the question. 1 second. On Darkest Dungeon or its sequel, do you think you might play them if you haven't? I did play Darkest Dungeon a while ago when it was still in early access. I haven't played the sequel yet. That may be interesting, though. Yes, monopolies are illegal, but the thing is, de facto monopolies are not. So, as long as you don't own all of the competition, you don't have a monopoly. Except you do. Because, you know. You basically do. But, like, a monopoly is essentially owning all the competition. Not, so, if you have some people who are outside of it, then it's not a monopoly. Except it really fucking isn't. And yeah, as long as you don't call it a monopoly, you're fine. It's like that one joke. It's like that they're coming right at us joke. There's two ways of getting a monopoly. No competition or buying all the competition. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say ISP providers. They may not have bought up all the competition, but they've essentially entered into a unstable alliance where they essentially don't fuck with each other and just basically offer the same service. So I have not played any of the Splatoon games, surprisingly. Ever heard of a game called Crosscode before? Yes, that's one I need to play. It looks cool. I'll have to get to it. One of those games that's like, I don't hear like a lot, I haven't heard about it a lot, but from what I have, it looks cool. Mr. Sark, another YouTuber I watch, has to deal with Comcast. Oh, fuck. Comcast. But did you know that Comcast wanted to buy Blizzard, by the way? In the whole... You know the whole thing going on right now with Microsoft wanting to acquire Activision Blizzard? Apparently Comcast wanted to as well. And I'm just like, no. Absolutely not. I'd rather they not have, but I don't want... But, like, Comcast is, like, the fucking greater of two evils in that case. No, fuck them. At the very least, Microsoft actually makes games. Despite the fact that I don't want them making all the games. If I really don't have a choice in this... If I really only have two choices in this whole situation... Yeah, no, fuck Comcast. The Brits said no to Microsoft buying them, so Comcast might still get their shot. It's scary how Microsoft is the lesser of two evils. The unfortunate thing is they're both pretty big evils. It's just that Comcast is the slightly less, or is the slightly more big evil. Mainly from customer practices and shit like that. Oh god. Then again, I'm not exactly an expert on the subject because I don't actively keep up with it. I just kind of absorb information by osmosis. But yeah, I at least know enough that I don't want Comcast getting anywhere near that deal. This is also now reminding me of the Epic Game Store and the whole exclusivity bullshit. Is that still going on? Like, what's the whole situation with the Epic Game Store these days? Because I knew it was, like, disruptive for a while, but I haven't heard people talking about it for a bit. Even though they're both US-based companies, since they do business in the UK, there was a UK committee that basically killed the deal. Oh, okay. I mean, okay, that actually makes sense, considering that they legitimately do business overseas, and if anybody overseas has a problem with that, not happening. Otherwise they don't get to do business in that area. So First time catching a stream, glad I was finally able to. Also, I was thinking about the fact that you and Federal Ghosts have been almost extremely similar voices. He brought up the fact that I've never seen you and Fed in a video together. Anything to add? I'm back. How's it going? We're going fine. Just having a talkie stream because I was really late getting back from my appointment that I completely forgot about. So I don't really have a whole lot of energy for dealing with any gaming tonight. So we're just kind of talking, and we might not be going for that much longer. I'll be honest. I need to make an end screen so I can do what Max does whenever something happens on his stream that just makes him sit there in silence for a minute, and then he just like, except with like an end screen animation. I need to get something like that. That'll be the next thing I work on. Chat, scroll up. There. Okay. They kind of toned it down, though. I know the Telltale, like, Star Trek game is exclusive on it now. Oh, okay. So they're still doing it, but not as much. All right. Thanks for keeping me entertained during my little walk. You're welcome. Hope the walk's going well. Al 404 crashed. Now, you do... And thank you for the head pats. No. When Al crashes, this happens. Perfectly timed with the music. Holy shit. For the free games on occasion, I refuse to... I mean, yeah, the Epic Game Store is the reason I ever played Subnautica, to be fair, because it was offered for free one day, and I'm just like, okay, free game, sure, why not? And then it went on to become one of my favorite games and most successful videos I've ever done in my history, so yeah. To be honest, why not to be dishonest and then tell us the stream will last for 3 weeks? Integrity? What's that? I loved your Subnautica playthrough. Thank you, Lumia. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of the stuff I've done, and hope you will enjoy the new stuff I'll be making here sooner or later. As it stands, of my new style of content, I really only have 3 videos to show for it. The XCOM retrospective, the Subnautica retrospective, and the Dark Souls thing. I'm still not really sure what you'd call what I did there. I called it a documentary. I guess you would call it a playthrough documentary or a narrated documentary, or I don't fucking know. It's a thing. It's a big thing I did on Dark Souls. Subnautica playthrough and the old XCOM stuff I still go back to when I need to laugh and I need to pee. Well, I'm glad you still enjoy it. I may not think all of it has aged super well. Well, no. A lot of it has. A lot of the Subnautica stuff definitely has, but I may not think that a lot of my old stuff in general has aged well, but there is still stuff that I like about it, and I'm still glad people enjoy it. Imagine because of your Subnautica playthrough, honestly. Well, again, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy everything that comes next. Imagine a nature documentary of Dark Souls. And here we see the chosen undead in their natural habitat. Oh, they're dead. I know it's worked on you too. That's just the one thing I'm disappointed about Twitch. I can't go back to watch old streams like I can. Yeah, I know. I fucking hate that. And I'm sorry I'm sorry I've just basically abandoned the VOD channel. It's just, fuck. There are a lot of great streams that I've done before that are just lost to time now because Twitch doesn't want to save VODs. So, well, I say Twitch doesn't want to save VODs, and I'm just not doing it because I'm lazy. So, ugh. I do have a lot of stuff on my plate, to be fair. So maybe if I start being, I say this after the fucking Tuesday stream where I got like 186 subs in one stream. But to preface this, a lot of the money that I make doing YouTube and stream goes to things like rent, insurance, food, stuff that I need to live. So I'm not like I could pay to live, basically. I could live comfortably, but I'm not like super well off. But if I ever get to the point where I'm making a bit more, I will likely just pay someone to upload my VODs to somewhere and do like minor bits of editing on them. But that's a topic for another day. It's on the back burner, yeah. The months go to system updates and maintenance. And I mean, you see how often I crash and I dropped something to perfectly time with that. That was completely by accident. This needs a lot of maintenance. Hello, Logan. Welcome. A robot needs food. Well, the person running the controls needs food. The robot, I need batteries. And those also cost money. Look, electricity isn't free. It's your job. I've tried to stream a few times, things like World of Warships and Jedi Survivor just as a recreation. I fell flat on my face. It's one of those things that you really just got to keep trying at, but keep it as a hobby until it starts to take off. And the other thing is, the harsh reality is, it's never guaranteed to. You could try it for as long as you want, but it's never guaranteed to turn into a job. It's down to how often you get noticed, who notices you, and just how fortunate you are that the uncaring, unfeeling, algorithmic overlords, where'd that sentence go? How generous the uncaring, unfeeling, algorithmic overlords are feeling that day. But yeah, if you want to do it, just try it, but keep it to a habit and focus on things that actually are, you know, gonna help you live. But just keep doing this, but just keep doing it as a habit. You'll get the hang of it eventually. If you need batteries, then what's the crystal in your chest for? Just for show, shoots, and lasers? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I need to get like a sound effect cue on this so like it tinks when I tap my finger on it or something like that. I guess, well, considering that I call this background behind me the data core, I guess we could say that that's the inside of this. God damn. The crystal in his chest is just a sticker. It's about 20. Yeah, it's a holographic sticker. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, think aloud protocol, which is a way of studying cognition by having people speak their thoughts as they perform a task. Yeah, honestly, that's a good way of putting it, and it's a good way to practice. Just talk, you know? Just speak random bullshit and to practice talking to a crowd of people. Even if no one's watching, just talk, narrate, play a voice, or do a voice, play a character. Just do anything. Anything that gets your mind going. The crystal is a CPU? It sounds about right, sure. We'll go with that. Well, dear friends, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it there for tonight. Before I go, however, I'm going to start a raid. We are not going to be raiding Koba tonight. We're going to be raiding somebody else. Y'all know, do y'all know Caladori? They're the ones who made my, my channel's, emotes. So I want to drop y'all off on them. Go say hello to her. Very different style of humor to mine. Very, very memey and goofy, but still very fun. But, yeah, just go say hello to them, and, y'all have a good night, and thank you for showing up even though not much was happening today. And they may not be going for that long, but they're doing some art right now, so that'll be fun to watch. Anyway, have a good night, folks. I will talk to you tomorrow for Media Share. Good night.